Welcome and welcome back, everybody. Tabletop Toki here, and in today's video, we'll be doing a solo playthrough of War Machine. During the course of the playthrough, I'll give a tutorial about how the game is played, and be sure you stick around for the end of the video where I share my thoughts about the game in general. Before we get started, I will say that if you end up being interested in getting a copy of War Machine, our sponsor Noble Knight currently has some copies available at a great price. So if you would like to get one and browse some other new and used games, you can click the link down in the description. But without further ado, let's get started. Here's a game of War Machine set up and ready to play. Over the course of the game, you are going to be placing workers, collecting resources, and building structures in order to make the most efficient nation possible and contribute to the War Machine. For setup, you're going to start by placing out the main board. The 3 types of buildings will be shuffled, and 3 random buildings will be placed in the slots located on the edges of the board. You'll then also place out the pollution tile and the round tracker based on the number of players. Each player will take a cargo board, a warehouse, and a structure board, placing the respective upgrades face down next to them. You'll then take 3 workers and place them on your cargo board to start, and a set of resource markers. The first player will take 1 food, 1 steel, 2 coins, and 0 points. For solo, you'll randomly take one of the game and structure tiles and place it onto your structure board. This is different from a multiplayer game where instead of having a starting structure, you would instead get a government grant card and a company card. Each round in War Machine is going to be broken up into 4 phases. In the first phase, we'll roll all of our action dice. When you roll, you get 2 re-rolls, but you have to keep at least 1 of the previously rolled results each time. During this time, you can also use the power on your cargo board, which lets you convert any 2 dice into 1 die of your choice. Then we're going to move on to phase B, which is assigning your dice to the board. When you place a worker, it has to go on a slot that matches the shown icon. Additionally, if you want to place an energy die, it cannot be placed on its own. It has to follow a worker of that main type. Based on the type of die that you play, you'll then take the action in either the darkened section for a worker of that type or the lighter section if you use an energy die. During the solo game, you'll simply take the action, whereas in a multiplayer game, if you place a worker, other players can follow with an energy action, and when you place an energy, other players will not be able to follow at all. The different sections around the board have various actions you can take, ranging from gaining resources, getting upgrades, trading resources, and purchasing buildings. When purchasing a building, you'll take any modifications to the cost into account, take the building, place it onto the leftmost slot of that matching row on your structure board, slide down any remaining buildings, and refill. Another thing to note is that as you're gaining and trading resources, you can never exceed the limits shown on your board, and this is where upgrading your warehouse comes in handy so that you can store more goods and gain more points. Additionally, each of these upgrades for your warehouse, structures, and for more dice will gain you 2 VP at the end of the game. There is a special upgrade for your cargo board, which allows you to gain more dice, or like I said before, be able to convert 1 die to a side of your choice per round. If you do get those, then you will be able to use the die starting that round. We also have one side of the die, which is the nuclear symbol. This can be used as a wild. However, when you place it out on the board, you will have to take a pollution tile, which is worth -1 point at the end of the game. But there are certain actions where you can recycle it for a positive point. Once all of our dice have been placed out on the main board, we'll move on to phase C, which is where we are going to activate our structures. Much like how they're placed on the board, workers and energy will be placed onto our structure board in order to gain benefits of buildings. Some buildings will cost a single die to activate, some will cost multiple dice to activate, some will activate per the number of dice shown at the top, some will provide endgame scoring, and some will provide bonuses for each activation of structures in that row. It's important to note that dice are not used per structure, but rather can be applied to each structure. And similar to placing dice on the board, energy cannot be placed on its own, but rather has to follow a designated worker of that type. Once we've activated as many structures as we would like to, then we're going to move to the last phase, which is the cleanup phase. You'll place all of your dice back onto your cargo boards, move the round tracker down, and then we're ready to start a new round. So for the solo game, our goal is to score 50 or more points, and that's all we need to know to get started. So we're going to begin with our first rolling and assigning of action dice. Okay, so we have some symbols here. This could get us an upgrade to where we could potentially get another die, but we need 6 coins in order to do that, which we are pretty far off from. So I think we'll keep this icon, reroll these 2, Okay, we have a nuclear, which gets us a negative, but again, we want to try to convert those in order to get the conservatory. So we'll keep the nuclear die. And do we want to reroll this one is the question, to try to get more resources. Right now we could get food, but we can't do much else with it. So I think we will re-roll it and see what we get. Okay, just in energy, that's unfortunate. So we're gonna start by, I think, going here. Since we placed a nuclear die, we do have to take a pollution token. And we can do up to 2 conversions of steel and food into 4 coins each. Now, if we did that twice, it would bring us up to 10, which we don't have, but I think having a lot of that money early on might be really good. So we're going to max it out at 9. And then we are going to place this here in order to spend 6 money to get a cargo upgrade. So we'll flip over this A1. So it'll be 2 victory points at the end of the game, and we'll get our additional die right away. And it is a nuclear die. Wow. Okay. I mean, it gives us a lot of flexibility, but it's not great as far as our points here. We could purchase a cafeteria at a modifier of -1 if we go here, or for the full 4, but we don't have 4 money, unfortunately. So what we could potentially do instead, for the energy die, we could get 1 money, or we could purchase without the 1. So maybe let's go here to get 3 money for the main action. And then we will go, if only we had that warehouse upgrade for that 10 slot, we wouldn't have to do all of this. We'll spend 4 then for the cafeteria. It'll go in the leftmost slot on that section of the board, and these will shift down and replace. Okay, and I think that's all we can do for this round. So then we're going to put our dice onto our structure board. Unfortunately, well, actually, no, this one goes here, which is great. And then we have our nuclear die, which can go here. So the cafeteria can activate up to twice for 2 single dice. And for each one, we get a food or a coin. Let's go ahead and take 2 food. Let's take a food and a coin, because maybe we can purchase mining zone, which gets us steel and money for each activation of our industrial structures. These 2, unfortunately, don't really do anything for us because we can't activate this a 3rd time, and we have no other structures. So that's the cost of getting that extra die early on, but hopefully it'll pay off. All right, moving down to round 5, we're going to roll all of our dice and see what we get. Oh, a lot of energy, so we want to re-roll those to get better actions. Like I said, in a multiplayer game, energy can be good because, whoa, we won't necessarily, it allows us to take an action without our opponents following. Okay, so we can get food with this, or we can pay to start converting some of that. We do want to go over here and get mining zone. I think that would be a smart choice. And we could potentially use our wild die to, ooh, if we get more money, we could get iron mine. So do we want to reroll this die to try to get a hat icon or a wrench so that we could get more things? Against my better judgment, or do we want to just get food and try to recycle? Oh, but we won't have enough money. So I think I am going to re-roll that one. Hey, there we go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go here to get 2 food, because we can then assign this guy here and trade into food for 8 coins. Wait a minute. No, that's the wrong order. So we're gonna back up. We'll go here to spend 3 coins to purchase the mining zone. Oh, but we need an upgrade to get another industrial building. Yikes. Okay, this could be okay though. We'll figure it out. So instead, to upgrade, we need a food and a steel, but we don't have a steel. So we could place this to go get 2 steel and upgrade, but then we don't have that other action to purchase, which is unfortunate. So I think instead we'll go here and trade in those 2 food for 8 coins. And then we'll go here and spend those 6 of those coins to get our last fifth and last die, which we get immediately. And it's an energy action. Ooh, okay. Unfortunately, this costs 4 with energy. Even if it was the actual symbol, it would cost a little more. And I almost forgot to take our pollution token there. So instead, we can do one of these minor actions. Maybe we want to go ahead. Oh, we need to upgrade anyway. So let's just take 1 steel as a follow action there, I think. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Okay, and that sets us up to purchase this for next time and maybe get that iron mine. So now we have to assign our dice. This one unfortunately does nothing. This one unfortunately does nothing. And this one is going to go here. We can follow. Our nuclear die doesn't do much for us. So we can activate cafeteria twice for each of the 2 dice. Let's go ahead and take a food and a money. And for each of those, we can take a money or a steel for each activation. So I'm going to actually take 2 steel there. And that should be good. Because we can use steel to help purchase some of these commercial buildings or government buildings. We really need to diversify here, I think, going into the next round. We'll move our round tracker down and take our dice back. Okay. Round 3. Let's see what we get. Okay. Ooh, we do have a lot of variety with our symbols. That actually might be a great roll. Although there's nothing here that's really great. We just have game end scoring, which is unfortunate. Some resource. Ooh, recycling plant's really good because we can trade food for converting pollution. So if we plan on placing that there, we do have enough because we get a discount of 1 food for that spot. So that's where that will go. And then with these other dice, we can hopefully get our upgrades. Oh, but the upgrade is here. So we do want to try to get, we do have 2 hats though, that's fine. And then we could purchase the iron mine with one of our wrench dice, and we could do other stuff with other things. So I think we're just gonna leave it there. So the first thing we wanted to do was go here. Oh, but if we spend 1 of each, then we don't have enough. But I think it's okay because we can use these dice to get resources. So we'll take 2 food, and then we'll take 2 steel, and then we'll go here and do an upgrade action to upgrade B3 so we can place 2 more industrial structures. That way we can, that way we can then purchase the iron mine for 3, which will get us a lot of steel. These are going to slide down and replace, and then we're going to place this in the only spot it can go, which is there. So do we want 3 money or do we want to purchase recycling plants? We're going to purchase recycling plant for 2 food because we have that discount of 1 food, and then 2 steel. But we're going to make those resources back, so it's okay. And then these will slide down and replace. All right, so a little bit better this round for this phase. We have that there, and we can choose what order we want to place them in. So we're going to place both of these down here first and activate the cafeteria twice. We do need at least 2 food, so I'll take 1 food and 1 money for that one, which activates mining zone twice. So I'll take 2 money because I'm going to get 2 steel from iron mine, which then reactivates mining zone twice. So I can take, let's take 2 money. I don't think we need that much steel. And then, unfortunately, only once for 1 die, we spend 2 food in order to flip one of these pollution tokens to the recycle side. All right, and then we're moving on to the next round. So we have a lot of steel and a lot of money, which sets us up for these 2 buildings, but not a lot of food left. Okay, what do we have? Well, we do want at least 5 pollution tokens by the end of the game, so I think we'll keep that. We can potentially purchase this to get victory points, or this is 1 point per this type of structure, which we have a lot of, so that seems pretty good. And then what do we have here? There's nothing down here that we really want to be doing unless we want to try to get more money to upgrade our board. Oh, actually, we do want to get upgrades, so that's that. And then these ones, ideally, we want those stars instead. So I think I'm going to re-roll both of these because there's not a whole lot else we can do over here unless we want to use this wrench for here, but we have a nuclear die, so I think this is fine. Okay, so we are keeping the wrench, and then let's re-roll that and see. Wow, okay, 3 wrenches. Not great, but it should be okay. So let's start by, oh, we can't get any food. Oh, which means we can't upgrade. That is not ideal. But we will figure something out. So let's start with what we know, which is that we want to go, oh, but we need a food for that too. Oh man. So I guess we're using our wild die to get 2 food because we need food. And then we're going here to spend 1 of each of these to upgrade our warehouse, I suppose, so that we can get more resources and get some points. And then we only have these left. So if we go there, we can spend 3 money, 1, 2, 3, and 1 food to gain this, which is going to be worth 5 points because we have 5 of those. Unfortunately, it means that we can't, or do we want Steel Factory to get 2 points each round and get things back from Mining Zone? Actually, yeah, we want to do that and not spend the food. So we just spend the 3 money instead and place the Steel Factory here. These will slide down. Not that it matters too much because we can't purchase any more industrial buildings for the rest of the game. We're maxed out at 5 with our upgrade. And then, oop, I almost forgot to take a pollution token. Let's see. So we have to go here and here. We can get iron, I suppose. And we're going to do that twice because we can't purchase buildings. We don't have enough money to upgrade our cargo board. And we don't want to trade food for victory points because we want to use it to recycle. So instead, we'll take 2 iron for that first die and 2 iron for that second die. So it's good that we upgraded our warehouse. Otherwise, we would have ran out of space. Okay, now we are going to place our dice onto our board. This one has to go here, but we'll wait on that because we need more food. So we're going to place all 3 of these down here. Our nuclear die doesn't really do anything, ultimately. So we're going to trigger this twice, cafeteria. So we'll take 2 food, and then mining zone's going to trigger twice. Oh, we're almost maxed out there. So we're just going to take 2 of those money. Then we'll trigger this. We can only trigger it once though. Oh no, which means mining zone triggers once. And then we're going to trigger Steel Factory, which is 1 and 2 in order to get steel and 2 VP, which we use that steel. Ooh, not great. So perhaps instead of taking those 2 steel, because we would have gotten 3 steel here, maybe we will trade 1 of those food for, no, because we need it for recycling instead, unfortunately. So yeah, that's fine. So we'll go to the recycling plant, spend 2 of these in order to recycle 1. We can recycle on the main board too for money, which is something that we'll definitely start having to do. Okay, penultimate round. Let's see what happens here. We went really heavy into these industrial structures, and I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. So, okay, here's what we need. We need food and purchasing stuff with iron, and the rest of these results look pretty good, except we would like some hats. 1 more nuclear token is fine, I think. This roll actually looks pretty good, so we're gonna leave it at that. So the first thing I would like to do is get some of these structures up here because it's not looking great. So maybe we would like to purchase, I mean, 1 point per this type of structure at the end of the game isn't the worst. So we'll spend 2 steel for that because we get the discount since it's in the matching district. These are going to slide and refill. Okay, for each recycled good, we get a steel. We don't need more steel though. So maybe we want to, oh my gosh. See, this only triggers off of other buildings of that type, so that's not great. And I don't want to spend all my money here. Let's see what else we can do instead. I could go here and purchase that +1 steel if we wanted to do that. Oh, we want to upgrade as well though. Which one would we like to upgrade? I think we have to use this to upgrade, but in order to do that, we're going to need more food. So I guess we are going here to get 2 food We're gonna go here to spend a food and a steel to upgrade. We're nowhere near these buildings, so I'll just upgrade the warehouse since we maxed out steel last time. That seems pretty legit. And then we don't want to gain more steel. We don't want to spend our food. We've already upgraded our production board as much as we can because this one costs 6 plus, oh yeah, this one costs 6, but with this one, and we don't have 6 money. So we are going to go here and spend more steel than we need to in order to get some of these. And we're going to spend, if we spend 4 steel, do we want to spend 3 money for the scrapyard so we at least get some steel back? I believe so. Or do we want to just recycle and wait? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're going to, against my better judgment, wait and just spend the 3 money to recycle a token. No, because we can do that later. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are going to buy the scrapyard, which is super expensive, which gets us more steel. No, I don't want to spend the money. Instead, we're going to spend the 4 and take Harbor Zone and hope that this will bump down the cost a little bit, and then hopefully we can get more better conversions. Like this is pretty good if we can get money, which we can get money down here. So that should be fine. Oh, and we have this die as well still. So we could just get more steel, I suppose, because we can only get 2 pink and we're going to need 3 pink. So yeah, we're taking 2 steel. Okay, and then we're going to place our dice back on our board. So these 2 don't do anything, and we need that there, and these here. So we're going to take our 2 food from cafeteria, which gets us stuff from mining zone. We'll take money. Then we take 2 iron for the iron mine, and then we trigger mining zone again. I think we're going to take money. And then we get steel factory, which is 1 of these, and 2 money. I don't think I took a pollution token for that. So we're doing that. And then, uh-oh, I lost where I was. This, did I spend or did I gain? I'm not sure. We had 3. We gained 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I accidentally moved it up instead of down. And I think that means that's probably up instead of down as well. Yeah, because we would have had exactly 3. Good. So we get 2 of victory points and 1 steel. And that activates mining zone 1 more time. We'll take the money. And then we're going to activate recycling plant by spending 2 food in order to recycle 1 of our energy. Woo, okay. So last round. Let's see how we do here. Okay, we're gonna roll our dice and see what we get. Wow, that's not great. We definitely need that. We want a lot of these symbols because we want to be able to recycle. We do want some of these though to activate these down here. But I don't know that we need 3 or 2 of them. I'm gonna re-roll 3. Okay, a hat seems good. This is good. An energy is not good. So we're gonna re-roll that. And that should be fine, maybe. We'll see how it goes. So the first thing, we need food so we can do upgrades. I think that's a given. Then we're going to use this to upgrade, unless there's one of these that's good, but we're low on food. We would get food per each of those, but we're only going to trigger it once, so that's a no. So yeah, we're going to do that upgrade to do boom, boom, and we'll upgrade this board up here since that's the one that's at risk of running out. Very low on commercial buildings in this run through. Then we are going to place, we want to build stuff. Which one of these is good? We get points for money. For each recycle, we get scrap. We can spend 2 money for a victory point. So right now this is worth 2 points, but we could get more if we activate more here, but we have to spend money for that. So we have to like spend a point. How does math work? If we spend this, it would be 3 plus 2 plus 2, which is 7 for 2 points. But up there, we already just have 2 points. So, but we'll be getting more money down here, which means, but not as much. So I think we just want to spend the 2 steel. No, because Harbor Zone, we get more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're doing that with the discount to get the manufactory, unless we think we're going to purchase 2 and we can make it cheaper. But I don't think we'll have any money because then we're spending it for points. So that's not it. Oh, that's really good. We could like chain it back and forth. And we do have enough. We do have the correct amount of steel and money for that. But then what would we do with this die? Probably just get some steel. Yeah, okay, that's what's happening. So we're going to purchase for 2 steel because we have a discount. I don't remember if I took the discount for the last one. Oh, but then we have 1 less, which is 2 plus the 1 point for that if we don't recycle. But getting these points is going to be way more valuable, I think. But but we won't have food. Just kidding. Okay, so we're taking that 2 steel back and that 3 money back. And instead, we're going to spend the 3 money to recycle one of these. I think that's our best option. But we can get food with the harbor zone. It's so hard to know. I think we're just going to take the workshop and we'll see what happens. Okay. So then we're moving into our last structure activation. So looking over here, what are we doing? Because we're going to activate that 3 times. Unfortunately, that's it. So let's do cafeteria first. So we're going to gain, unfortunately, only 1 food, which then gets us a money from mining zone. We get 1 iron, which gets us a money from mining zone. And then we spend 2 money. Whoa, that was close. And a pink to get 2 victory points and a steel. Where's steel? There we go. Okay, now we can't do recycling plant yet because we need more food. So we're going up here with our 3 dice. We can activate manufactory twice. We don't have enough. Oh my. We're activating workshop once. So 1 food and 1 steel, which gets us 2 money and 2 victory points. Then we can activate manufacture. Oh, and that gets harbor zone, which gives us. No, it's bad. A food. Yikes. Or a money. It doesn't matter because we're not going to have enough. So we'll just take the food. And then manufacture we can only do once. So that's 2 money for 1 victory point. Oh, we definitely messed up. Which gets us a food. I mean, at least we can do our recycling plant now for 2 food to convert 1 of these. And I believe that is everything. So we're going to total up our points now, as that was the 6th and final round. So we're going to start with our VP on our warehouse board, which is 9 points. We're going to add 2 points per upgrade. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Not bad. Then we have endgame scoring based on our structures. So this one is 1 for each of these government buildings. So we have 4 points for that. And for our conservatory, we have 4 points as well, which is 8 points total. So we're at 29 so far. Then we have points for our recycling, which is 3, 4, minus 1, which is 3. So our grand total is 32 points, which is quite a bit away from that 50-point total we were looking for. But that is a solo playthrough of War Machine. So there you have it. That is a solo playthrough of War Machine. I'll start by saying that I might be a little biased here because dice worker placement, engine building, and resource management are 3 of my favorite combinations of words that you can have in the board gaming space. But I feel that where a lot of other games are very broad, have a lot of rules overhead, and a lot of time investment that are in that genre, War Machine manages to package it up in the most delectable, concise experience with so many cool little details. In fact, the rules overhead is just magnificent. We just have this 3-page fold-out, double-sided, and it's not even that dense. In terms of the multiplayer experience, it does list 1 to 2 hours as the playtime, which I think is fairly accurate depending on your group's play style. A big part of that is one of the really cool mechanics that I love about multiplayer, which we didn't get to see in solo, so I'll mention that quickly. Following actions. So if you use a main icon die, all the other players get to take an energy action from that particular area. You place an energy die, however, they don't get to take, which I think I mentioned in the solo playthrough, but again, we didn't necessarily get to see it. I think that that's really cool interaction that keeps everybody engaged, even when it's not your turn, and it's something unique to the multiplayer game where you really have to manage what you're doing versus benefits that you want to give to other players. The solo game does away with that, and it is beat your own score, which I know that not everybody's a fan of, but I will say I much prefer this method for the solo game versus having a bunch of bookkeeping, keeping track of like an extra board or an AI where you give them resources and they score points. While that could have been viable, I love the fact that I can play War Machine in like 30 minutes or less solo and get that really crunchy, intense experience. The goal point of getting 50 or even later 65 points for the challenge mode, I think is super challenging, and I'm really looking forward to playing this one more, trying out various different strategies. And another cool thing that is present in both the multiplayer and solo mode is that double layered dice worker placement, where the dice that you assign go onto the board, but then they also go onto your structure board to activate your personal engine. I think that's just such an interesting balance of things where you have to then kind of build your board around the certain dice that you're trying to roll, and having those re-rolls with that little bit of push your luck, but being able to manipulate them by upgrading your board and getting more dice. There are just a lot of cool things that you can do with this one, even though it is relatively focused in scope compared to a lot of broader Euro games that utilize similar mechanics. The only other small thing that I will say does really bug me is some of the graphic design on the main board. The fact that one of the columns has the main icon for the die above the energy icons instead of the other way around to keep it consistent does bug me quite a little bit, and I do wish that they had these structures going the same way on the two sides, so they were both going from highest to lowest versus highest to lowest and lowest to highest. But again, those are minor graphic things that don't really detract too much from the overall experience. Overall, if you're looking for a concise, strategic, engaging experience, solo and or multiplayer, that utilizes a lot of classic mechanics like dice worker placement, resource management, and engine building, you absolutely need to check out War Machine. And that's about all the time we have for today. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to click the like button. You can also subscribe for more solo and other board game content down below. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're interested in purchasing a copy of War Machine, our sponsor Noble Knight currently has some copies in stock at a really awesome price, so you can click the link down in the description below to directly support the channel and get a game or two for yourself. Thanks so much as always for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.